Hello everybody,
Hello.
happy VE Day, Victory in Europe. Thank you to the brave souls from back in the day from all across those countries in Europe who stood up for our rights and fought so bravely. We wouldn't be here now, talking freely and openly without you. So respect, thank you very much. And here we are again on a beautiful sunny day today.
It is nice.
It's beautiful, isn't
We're
it?
in a new position.
Yeah,
I think there might be more traffic here.
it might be.
We'll give it a whirl.
Yeah, we'll carry on.
And quite interesting. I read a blog, I think it was, that said that was talking about if modern journalism had existed during the in the 1940s, in 1940, it would have been the outcome would have been different. And you start to think about, the way that propaganda was, how the news was dealt in the 1940s compared to now. It's interesting, isn't it? It's there's so much fear attached to the media that you can get yourself into a right old spiral. And I guess back then in the 1940s it was all sort of like upbeat, all in this together. It was just there was one story, and that was winning. Together.
That's a good point, really, because they weren't really winning for quite a long time in that war. So if there'd been daily clickbait headlines, the morale in the country for sure would have been down. Obviously, access to truth and information is fantastic, and that's a very good thing. But it is completely and utterly bewildering and confusing right now when you read the press or go on the internet. I mean, you read from like we'll be back to work to like this is 3 years into the worst economic crisis to it'll be okay to
we'll be stronger than ever next year.
Yeah, to like it's not really anything to worry about. Young people, it's just like
there's nothing to hold on to, is there?
No, not at all. It's crazy.
Which I suppose it makes it all the more important that we have our own personal stability, and that's why it's really a good time to go within, if you like, and find your own balance in all of that.
I think you've got to, haven't you, really?
Yeah, because there's just insanity and chaos being distributed all around.
What happens to me when I'm really open-minded and I love reading about alternative ideas and opinions, and not that I just believe them straight away, but I think it's really important to consider voices that maybe are being quietened down, or like different alternative viewpoints, just to have an open mind. Personally, that's important to me and to you and to us, and I think it's important for everybody. Everybody should take the time to at least hear what someone's got to say. Don't just take it on.
Yeah, make your own mind up. But
I always find that at the moment I'm almost so overdone with information that I kind of end up feeling like I've almost...
Somebody said the other day, there's so much information, there's no information.
Well, it almost is a bit like that in a way, because you could take any strand of what's going on and go down that route with it. You are left a bit impotent.
The problem with it also is because we've now got differing points of view, and some people are rigidly holding on to their old ideas, and other people are exploring what the CIA brilliantly branded conspiracy theories. Thanks for that. Nice branding. And we're still in duality, aren't we? There's still that sense of divide and conquer. And so that's not the idea here. We really have got to come together. We've got to be a bit more fluid about other people's feelings and ideas, and just try and be more open to how other people are feeling and thinking, and try and see it from their perspective, or at least give it half a moment to consider.
What a brilliant point you just made. I think, Nev, if you really take that in again, worth rewatching that and listening and thinking about it from the point of view of people that are in charge of things. Because that was a very eloquent point, that even if you're in power, or you're like the head of YouTube or something, and you decide that you've got to block something, or that, for example, vitamin D, which is really great for the immune system, might not cure anything, but it will certainly help. And so for those leaders to at least kind of take that on as a something to consider, and not come at it from a duality point of view, like wrong, right. How about just open? Yeah,
like cut and dry. On the vitamin D issue, I saw through some point in my stream a while back a post from the NHS, or it looked like it was from the NHS. It had the NHS on it, basically stating vitamin D will not cure COVID. Well, of course it won't. Of course it won't. But wouldn't it have been better if they'd said, won't cure COVID, but there is some substantial evidence to show that it is incredibly beneficial for the respiratory system. And if you are of darker skin, then you should definitely take supplements and definitely take advantage of your 1 hour's exercise, particularly when the sun is shining. And a few other little pointers that actually might inspire and guide people to do the right thing themselves with regards to vitamin D. But they're sort of cut and dry. No, it's not that. Vitamin C, I mean, YouTube have said that they'll ban any YouTube video that says that vitamin C cures COVID. Well, of course it doesn't cure COVID.
But it helps.
But we all know about, the minute you get a cold, you dash for the lemon, don't you?
It's interesting as well, that YouTube thing, because obviously they've been banning some videos. It's quite clear that they are taking down things which they think don't line up with their
the party line.
World Health Organization. But it's worth considering and remembering that all those social media companies are private companies that profit, and you are actually, they profit from the content, and you actually are the content creator and also the customer, which is very unusual that they've ticked that box where you're like basically creating their content and you're their customer. But they're a private company, and with any private company, there's people with money who have got vested interests, so of course they're not going to allow you to speak out against those vested interests. And also they've got a responsibility for the content they put out, so if they could get sued for allowing content to be put out there which is perhaps misleading or could have impact. So when it's something gets banned, it may be
rubbish,
but when something gets banned, it's like, ideally it isn't banned, but it's not a shock that a privately owned company run by technocrats is banning things. It's like, wake up, go to some different independent sources and different voices who maybe aren't those kind of companies to get some different information. It's not a shock to me that. Yeah.
If you want to go, absolutely. If you want to find alternative information, then go to places like LondonReal.tv and Gaia and
Iconic.
Iconic. There's plenty of alternative platforms out there, and because unfortunately YouTube don't want to be sued, and they're treading very carefully at the moment. So it's all a bit of a game. As he keeps seeing these videos being put up and taken down, it's a mad dash to see it before it gets taken down.
On the conversation about things being banned, we found out that China have banned...
Finally cracked down.
A cracker, this is.
This is a cracker.
They banned the idea of strippers at funerals.
Devastating.
Seriously, that's...
It must be devastating for all those people who like to have a good stripper at a funeral. I mean, it should go too, isn't it? You think, what do you think? You think, yeah, funeral.
I was thinking...
Sad he died. I'll tell you what he'd like, a stripper.
But also, when sometimes we talk about, I'd like this played at the funeral, I'd like her or him to be at the funeral.
Yeah, do you think they picked the bird before it went ahead? So the idea of the way they've justified it is it's a great honour to have a lot of people at the funeral. That's the thing, the numbers. It's a numbers game in China once you're dead. Oh, at least they've justified it as that, and I think the Chinese government has finally clocked onto it and gone, just a minute, you're just having a bit of a laugh. You've got to take your fun where you can find it, haven't you?
It's like basically we could have a party, get a stripper in, or it's kind of like Bob, who died, really liked strippers. Or it's like just a case of, we're having a funeral, why not get a stripper, because that'll be fun. It's
a numbers game. It's just the greatest honour. If you can say, there were 300 people at my funeral, then you're winning.
But like some of the subjects of what we're talking about here, there's obviously, if they think numbers are on the bums on seats, we've got Pam in to strip, they know it's down to Pam, not necessarily down to Bob. But they must know that. You must know you're being like fed some rubbish, which is...
I don't know what they know over there. No, it's confusing. Anyway, that's probably us done, is it? I'm sweating. It's really hot.
Sign there saying, sheep, please shut the gate. Make of that what you will.
Yeah.
Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.